don't think I see you, Crystal. Do you guys see her?
No.
No.
There. Is that working now?
Oh, now it works.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then it looks like it's recording it now, and then I can just send the link afterwards.
Cool.
It doesn't show a timer, so I'll just set a timer for like 13 minutes, and then we kind of have a little wiggle room since she said we shouldn't go over or under.
Okay.
If that works.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
After that whole ordeal trying to figure it out. Okay, and what was the prompt again?
So the question was, what qualities make a good leader? What qualities make for a poor leader? In discussing this, please consider material from the text and lectures, as well as personal experience and mediated or television examples. So,
Okay. So should we start by saying everyone's name? Because I know she wanted us to do that. So
yeah.
Let's do this. Okay.
So I'm
I guess.
Crystal.
I'm Anna.
Okay.
I'm Diana.
I'm Alexis, but you guys can just call me Lexi too.
Okay, perfect.
And I'm Diana.
Okay.
Cool.
Are you
Perfect.
guys all in Arizona?
Huh?
Are you guys all live in Arizona?
No, I'm in Washington State.
Oh, wow. Far.
I'm in Washington State too.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, you guys should be here. It's so nice outside.
It's
Nice outside.
not fun here. I hate it.
All right. So anything else we should talk about before we start in this, or we can just go?
I think we should just go. Someone can
Yeah.
start.
So for what qualities make a good leader, I was just figuring like someone who is actually working towards like changing something and making change and like as a like bringing the group up with them as a whole. Like especially when the section on like leaders versus managers, how managers just like are trying to get the results, leaders are really trying to build people up and like encouragement and like that useful change at the end instead of just we need these results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I don't know. In my head, like it comes up to, I used to work as a bartender and we had two different managers. One we had really task oriented and another one was really personal. Sometimes it was like too much personal, but a lot of times that manager, he was leading like by example. So it was coming up to him serving tables, helping at the bar, versus the other one just was like commanding, like, okay, I want you to do this and this and this, and never like step into the game to help. So I think the quality of a leader is, you know, push people to do their best and leading by example. So that's from my personal experience.
I agree. I also worked at a restaurant, and I actually just quit, which is really funny. But I worked there for like 4 years, and we had 3 different managers. We had like 1 dining director and 2 assistants. And the director was she was the only girl that worked there as far as the managers went. And she was very motherly and understanding and really like got to know who you were. But there was the 2 guys. One of them had to be like the tough one, and the other one, like same way, would do everything for us, and he would like go out of his way and like pick up tables and do all that stuff, which was really cool. But I saw the difference between the ones that were really good at connecting with you like on that level. I had more respect for them, but at the same time I didn't have respect for the managers who didn't know what they were doing. So I didn't like to be micromanaged, and I didn't like to be told, hey, go clean up that table or do this, or why aren't you doing this the right way, if I knew that that person couldn't do my job. So towards the end, right before I quit, I I had that conversation with the director, and I said, it's silly to me how sometimes you guys give us criticism, but I really don't think you could ever do my job. And so as a follower, it made it less and less likely for me to want to follow them, because I knew that they couldn't do what I could do, so I didn't want to follow them.
I had a manager like that too. I work at Starbucks, and they hired the manager from a Subway. So he didn't even know how to be a barista or anything. And so he would try to tell us all what to do, but at the same time, he couldn't jump on the espresso bar and help us make drinks or anything because he didn't know how.
Right.
So it was kind of hard to have that level of respect for him when it was like, you can't show us an example of what you want us to do because you don't know how.
Yeah, I kind of had that too. Because I work at Starbucks too. We were training someone who was going to be a manager at another store, and he came from Albertsons and managed like the Albertsons for like the last 10 years or something. But like he clearly showed like the difference between like leadership and like being a manager, because he didn't know what he was doing. He couldn't just slide on and help us out. But he would stand there up front and tell us what we were doing wrong and tell us what we should be doing. And I was like, are you going to like learn? And he didn't want to try and learn. He just wanted, okay, this is what I need to get through. Like you are in charge of all of this, but I'm going to stand here and like micromanage you and like tell you what you're doing wrong, even though I couldn't do it.
Yeah. It's like the worst.
That's interesting because I used to work at Starbucks too. Restaurant. But about leadership management, both of the jobs I actually quit because of the managers. Like at Starbucks, I used to work a long time ago for like 2 years, and then I used to be a bartender at a steakhouse for 2 years. And the reasons why I quit was the poor leadership skills. You know, they were managers, they were authoritarian managers, task-oriented. And it's funny because I saw, like at Starbucks, we had such a great store, you know, they were singing and we had so much fun. But then the manager switched, and I was just looking how people one by one start quitting job.
Yeah.
And she started hiring people that fit her expectation on like sell coffee, you know, and instead of having this, you know, friendly environment, it was kind of competition environment. And you know, most of the people, like 90% of people who I start working with quit, and you know, she wasn't flexible enough wasn't transparent enough, that I was like, okay, I need some change. So that was my another experience with also the authoritarian manager in Starbucks. So
yeah, because like the chapter talked about like how important it is for like when you're in the leadership position, how you work with others and like how you're engaging with everyone else, especially when it's like the follower leadership like relationship. It's like you really need to have that like kind of transparent like relationship where like one can't succeed without the other. You have to be open and like willing to work together and acting like you're really like wanting to help each other out to get to that common goal at the end.
Yeah, like I wrote down in my notes, like strive for unified commitment. Like they want, like everybody needs to work together. And like what she was saying about how her manager was kind of turning everybody into like competing against each other. That's not what you want your team to be. You want to be able to work together, not against each other.
True that.
Another example that I wrote down, I am usually not a Netflix binger. I just got into it and it's driving me crazy. I like watched all 3 seasons over the weekend, but it's a show called Peaky Blinders. Has anyone watched it before? So it's like a 1920s like mafia in like England, and it's like kind of about a family who they just steal stuff and they just do all this bad stuff, but they end up getting really high in like the mafia business, and they sell like horses and they're bookkeepers, and they like they basically sell out like the races so that they always win and stuff. It's really good. But anyway, in the show there's one guy, he's the leader. So he's actually, there's 4 brothers and he's the second oldest brother. And he is like the one that runs the whole business. So he does absolutely everything, and there's times when his leadership is questioned, and it's interesting to see like how it plays out because he's not the oldest brother. He like isn't married. There's all these characteristics that go into like why he's the one that everyone looks to, but he's like the smartest one and he makes all the decisions. But I also think it's interesting, like when you look at the followers and the different followers that there are, like in the chapter when I was reading, you can see the ones that are like, I think there's a section that talks about like the diehards, like they would do anything for their leader, and that's kind of how he is in the show. And so like he tells his brothers what to do and like who to go take care of or what pub to go blow up or whatever it is, but that, and regardless of what he asked for, like those followers would do anything for him, and he would walk around the town and he would run the town like he was the one that everyone would listen to. So I think it's also interesting to know like the followers and like those people who are motivated to always do anything for their leaders. So
yeah, and like how much influence one person can have over so many people. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. When you said this phrase, it off topic, but it reminded me 1941 or 1945, and like like even like bad leaders like Hitler, like
Yeah.
so many people fell into this. It's crazy.
But like, why do you guys think that so many people followed someone like that? Like, what made it so that he had a voice and everyone was interested in listening to someone like Hitler?
I think like his like oral abilities, and honestly, I don't think he was doing it by himself. I think that he had a good people who had the good suggestions for him, but he also knew how to talk and manipulate, and like good psychologist. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts? Well, why would he like everyone would listen to him like blindly?
Well, the chapter kind of talked about how like leaders make the conscious use of like the symbols and different like words to really like reach their goal. So he had a way of like kind of like tricking and like persuading everyone and like being very like conscious about how he was saying things about like other countries or what's going on to get like everyone to be convinced and like to be like, okay, you're this confident leader, like we should trust you, without really understanding what was going on in reality in the greater like sphere.
Yeah.
And I feel like he found like people to blame, and that's why like when people ask questions as far as why is this happening, he gave them answers, even if they weren't correct answers. He gave them answers like, these are the people that are affecting us, and like we need to do this to get rid of them. So I think that was like a big reason why people got their answers and people really listened to what he had to say.
And I feel like people didn't have any other sources to get information, so it's kind of more like closed circle, and all they can know it's from hearing from someone. Even if they had radio, the radio was all propaganda and it was playing over and over again. So people like, I mean, we can think, oh, it's, probably will never happen again, but right now it's easy to manipulate social media, and people just look at their Facebook feeds and they believe a lot of things. So yeah, I think it's also the way they get message to the people.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the 13-minute mark.
All right.
Do you have anything else we want to say, or do you think we're good?
I think we're good. I mean, we kind of covered what we were supposed to.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Then I'll submit this link to her. And then next Friday I can, since I kind of figured it out a little bit, like I'll just send out the link. Like we can start like messaging each other, making sure we're all online on our email, and then try getting this to go a little smoother.
Only one person needs to submit it, right? Not all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just fine.
And do you guys okay with 9:30 or 10?
9:30 works perfect for me. If that works for you guys again.
Yeah, and I think it'll be easier next time because we kind of have an idea of how to get things rolling. So I think it'll be good.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Well, nice to meet
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.